Hey guys, this is Omer from MMOs.com doing a quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news announced at the week ending May 13th, 2019. This is episode number 199 of the recap, and the first of news this week is from Kakao Games regarding Black Desert Online. The game is launching its Underwater Ruins expansion on May 22nd for both North America and Europe. And as you probably guessed, Underwater Ruins is a water-themed update that has players going underwater, though combat won't be underwater, and once you discover these locations, you can actually access them and run through them without actually being underwater. Expect new enemies, new bosses, and of course, new loot. And with the average player base of over 12,250 players online on Steam alone concurrently, BDO remains one of the most popular new MMORPGs in the West, or at least newer MMORPGs. Next up, some pretty spicy news from Zenimax Online Studios, the company behind Elder Scrolls Online. The company's president, Matt Ferrar, confirmed that they're working on a new AAA game, but beyond that, they haven't said anything. We do know that they're hiring people right now for said projects, and they haven't announced it yet, so they're probably still far away. But again, no word on what it's going to be. I mean, it might not even be an MMO, but given that the studio itself is called Zenimax Online Studios, I expect it'll be some kind of online game. They also said that they're fully committed to Elder Scrolls Online still, which makes sense given that Elder Scrolls Online is still incredibly popular. Maybe a Fallout MMO, but 76 was a huge flop, so maybe not. Anybody else have any good guesses? Because I have no idea. Up next, Alliance of Valiant Arms, boys. It's back for like the 5th time. This is one of those free-to-play shooters that just keeps coming back from the grave. It's that one cancer patient that refuses to die. Every time the doctor says you have 1 week to live, AvA just refuses to die. This game was first available in the West through EG. And remember, EG feels like forever ago now. Anyway, when they shut down, Aria Games picked up AvA, and they eventually shut it down as well. Then, en masse, the guys behind Terra picked it up, and they shut it down too. Now, it's hosted by its Korean developer, Red Duck, on Steam. And it's actually off to a surprisingly good start, because it's averaging 1,150 players online at a given time, which is pretty amazing for a 10-year-old free-to-play Korean lobby shooter. I mean, I played this game a lot back in the day, and I enjoyed it, but you have a lot better games now, including CSGO, which is free-to-play, as well as Black Squad, which is also a Korean shooter, which I think is a bit better than AvA. But yeah, boys, AvA is back. Anyway, moving right along, ReWorld, an upcoming MMORPG by the Canadian development studio QWERTY Studio, will be divided into 2 games. ReWorld was first announced last year and is a free-to-play sandbox MMO inspired by Ultima Online and Gary's Mod. Players will have to build their own worlds procedurally, set mods, rules, and create their own stories and share it with everybody. So it's basically an MMORPG with player-created content. While there's still no word on the release for this one, it's split into 2 games now, with the first being ReWorld Online, which is the customizable MMORPG, and then there's ReWorld Adventure, which is an 8-player MOBA. Definitely a bit odd to see companies getting to the MOBA industry now, but apparently the MOBA will be procedure generated too, so it'll be kind of cool, I guess. I'm more excited for the MMORPG though, and at least they're trying something different, so I think it could be cool if it comes out, as promised. Up next, Legend of Aria is adding a 3rd faction in their upcoming Allegiance update to further encourage faction versus faction PvP. The faction PvP is opt-in though, so it's not like you have to join a faction and open yourself to getting killed. It's actually pretty remarkable how much like Ultima Online Legend of Aria is trying to copy. I mean, Ultima Online had 3 factions for its PvP as well and was opt-in. I'm still kind of sad to see Legend of Aria didn't focus on player mods. The game was originally built itself as shards online and was supposed to be player-created servers and mods, but they pivoted to a focus on their own content and be a more traditional MMORPG instead. Anyway, I say give this one a try, but it's cost money. It's not free to play either. I mean, the way the game is now too, it's kind of like Albion Online, but more focused on PvE and non-PvP content. But it's still kind of cool. I just wish it was free to play. Then I would recommend at least giving it a try. Next up, Albion Online has been on a tear since going free to play, averaging over 7,700 players on Steam alone. The game will be getting a mid-season update titled the Oberon Mid-Season Patch, which will add 3 major new outline regions to the game, which will all be claimable during the next Invasion Day, which is on May 18th, so it'll all be out before then. Though it won't be contributing to season points for this season for Guild vs. Guild, but we'll do so in Season 7. Again, if you haven't tried this one out, it's free to play now, so it's worth giving it a try. I'm not even getting paid to shield this. I actually just really enjoyed this game and played it quite a bit back in the day. And it's actually one of the only popular PvP-focused MMOs as well. So if you like PvP in your games, definitely check out Albion Online. Next up, there's a big update for MapleStory 2 coming out. It's called Awakening, and it's the latest expansion to the game, and it's set to launch on May 30th, and with it comes a bunch of new goodies, most importantly, an increased level cap to 70, a new skill tree for each job with job ranks up to 60, a new playable class to Striker, new Chaos Raids, new dungeons, and more. Plus, there's actually an event leading up to the expansion where players can get a free level 60 character boost for free altogether, which is pretty awesome. And again, MapleStory 2 expansion Awakening is launching on May 30th. Up next, some pretty spicy news. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, introduced a bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions altogether in, quote, games played by minors, which if passed, would affect pretty much every game, because anybody below 18 is a minor, technically. So they would have to actually change the entire industry. But while this law is obviously welcomed by gamers, I think it has almost no chance of passing, because of how much power the industry has in lobbying against it. Then again, we did have a lot of investigations in Europe looking into microtransactions, but ultimately nothing came of it, at least not yet. Entertainment Software Alliance, the video game industry industry lobbyist group responded to this story on Kotaku and basically said that it's not going to happen because numerous countries, including Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, and New Zealand, as well as the United Kingdom, all looked into loot boxes and determined that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. But hey, at least we have a U.S. senator looking out for gamer interest, and even if nothing happens here, it might end up toning down loot boxes, so it could still be a win. Next up, the buy-to-play Unreal Engine-powered fantasy MMORPG Astellia showed off its enhancement system this last week in a developer diary, and it covers the basics of upgrading equipment. While the item enhancement system in the game and dismantling system isn't particularly unique, it's very similar to other free-player MMORPGs. I mean, upgrading level 50 gear past +2 risks losing your materials while not getting the upgrades, and anything beyond level 7 can have critical failures that can result in the loss of upgrades altogether, though I don't think the item itself breaks, which is nice. No word on when Astellia is launching just yet, but my guess is it's going to come out sometime later this summer. Next up, a bit of a story I forgot to cover last week. Heroes of the Storm gets a brand new hero, Anduin Rin, a brand new hero officially joined the Nexus. Well, it's always nice to see new heroes. What's more interesting is that Heroes of the Storm continues to get new heroes, despite Blizzard basically announcing a couple months ago that they basically stopped working on the game with full commitment, as they've been shifting resources away from HOTS and into other projects. But the game hasn't stopped getting updates, which is great, because I actually still play HOTS once in a while, so I do like to see the game get some love. So HOTS is not dead quite yet, just the updates have slowed down a lot, but they're still getting some new stuff. Next up, we still don't know who's going to end up buying Nexon. They did report their Q1 2019 earnings report, and they reported record revenues for the last 3 months, which came in at a cool $848 million, with profits coming in at $487 million. As with previous earnings reports, Nexon still gets the bulk of their revenues from PC games. 83% of the revenues came from PC, while mobile only made up 17%. China made up 62% of the revenues, South Korea 24%, and all of North America only 4%. Isn't it remarkable, though? All those Nexon games we play here in the West and America only makes up 4% of their revenues, and that number is actually inflated because they actually bought a mobile studio in America recently, which actually pushed these numbers up a bit higher. So even without that, it'd be like 2 or 3%, which is pretty nuts. You can also see their actual pipeline coming out for games out here in the West and worldwide. SINoALICE is coming out soon, and so is Durango. But personally, I'm more excited for MapleStory Game Mobile, which unfortunately has no Western release date just yet. It is neat to see Final Fantasy XI R, which is a mobile title, listed under North America. That could be pretty cool. But yeah, in terms of who's actually buying Nexon, my guess is still Tencent, but we'll find out hopefully pretty soon. Speaking of SINoALICE, Nexon actually opened up the game to global pre-registrations this last week. This one is a dark fantasy RPG developed by Square Enix and is led by creative director Yoko Taro, which is the guy behind Nier Automata. So there's some hype behind it because of that. Though from the looks of it, it's just another mobile RPG gacha waifu collector similar to Grand Blue Fantasy or Fate Grand Order. But given Yoko Taro is a creative director, I imagine that the art and story will be pretty awesome. Plus the music, I'm sure, will be great too. But the actual gameplay looks very similar to other mobile gacha games. The next and last bit of news this week is also mobile related. Long Entertainment revealed their Unreal Engine 4 powered MMORPG titled Dragon Raja at Unreal Open Day 2019. It was previously called Project Sue, but its name is now officially Dragon Raja. The game aims to deliver a PC-like MMO experience on mobile and promises ultra freeform sandbox gameplay along with full day-night cycles, seasonal weather patterns, top-tier animations, and more. And it's a lot to promise, but visually speaking, the game does look good. No word on release just yet, but the game is already out in Southeast Asia as well as China. There are some gameplay videos out there. It looks great visually. I just hope it's not another autoplay mobile MMORPG like Lineage 2 Revolution, but I have a feeling it's going to be. Anyway, guys, that's it for my news this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast, and we'll be doing it a few hours earlier tomorrow, likely around noon PST. So basically 4 hours earlier than usual, but we'll be going back to a normal schedule when back in the States. Anyway, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.